Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Over 1,200 illegal aliens are marching northward to America, and they're demanding that we let them in. What's happened to us? No more pride in our country or our Constitution or our laws. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Call in on a windy, gusty, snowy, rainy, whatever Monday. And a good morning to you. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, on the first Monday of April. Good morning to you, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with a big spring tire sale right now. Maybe you better get some studded snow tires the way the weather forecast looks. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line, have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning. It's my privilege to say the pledge.
Well, thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you ever done the pledge for us before?
Yes, I have.
Well, I thought I recognized your great voice. Don't make yourself such a stranger. Call in more often. I appreciate that.
I'm a long-haul trucker, so I'm not always around or in phone service.
I thought I recognized your voice, and please drive carefully out there on the highways and byways. Thank you for calling.
I have a really quick thought in case I can't get back to you. All right, let's round up equal amounts of homeless people in each of the states and the capital, Washington, D.C., and I know it's not Trump's fault, and head for the White House and all of the governor's mansions and say, we demand as homeless people that we be allowed to live in your house.
Absolutely. You know, I'm so vindictive and outright mad against what's happening in this country with illegal aliens telling you and me, stand back, here we come, there's not a thing you can do about it, we're going to get our way. I've had it. I'm absolutely frustrated.
Isn't it? Wouldn't it be the same? Maybe they would catch on.
When it comes to politics and politicians, my dear sweet lady, I don't think they're sharp enough to catch on.
Okay, well, then we need to round them up, some more up, and go to every single federal senator and every federal representative and every state senator and every state representative, and even we have to, not have quite as many because we don't have that many homeless in some of these states, and say, we demand, and it's our right to live in your house.
Yeah, I'm on your side.
Set their tents up on their lawns.
Yeah, I'm absolutely on your side because something has got to be done. I am sick and tired of being dictated to by the loony left. And thank you so much, and be safe out there.
Thank you.
All righty. Nice lady right there. I enjoyed having her on the air. Thank you very much. And we've got to scoot to the weather real quick. And the weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South 600 west of Hayburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. You can't miss it. And spring is here. Look at the wind. Look at the blustery days out there. Oh, my goodness sakes, it's going to blow and snow and rain. Well, don't forget to stop over to K&R Rental. They've got all the power rakes and the rototillers and all the lawnmowers, forklifts, power tools. Matter of fact, we did mow our lawn this last weekend. So get over there and check out all the equipment you need to make your place look better at K&R Rental. Right now, here's the weather.
Looks like we're in a high wind warning in effect. All you big riggers, please be careful out there. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting scattered rain showers this morning and maybe some scattered snow showers up on the higher elevations. Cloudy skies becoming mostly sunny by this afternoon. However, there is the wind. Looking at a west wind right around 30 miles an hour, increasing to 40 miles an hour this afternoon. Gust high is 55 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 45 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. The winds will continue. However, they will die down. For tomorrow, sunny skies with a high of 51. Mostly cloudy for tomorrow night with a low of 33. Then for Wednesday, cloudy skies and a high of 58. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Wow, what a difference from yesterday. We were sitting out around the old fair pit and had the family over here, and we had strawberry shortcake sitting out basking in the sun. Right now, that old shortcake would have flew out of our hands and ended up over in Paul. Woo! K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, and they open at 7 in the morning, and they have all the best of tools and equipment for you. Call them 678-3122, K&R Rental. Now, I want to remind you, I've got to get this in tonight, actually this afternoon, from 4 to 6 p.m., there is going to be the Cache County School District Board of Trustees and the interviewing and asking questions of, at a meet and greet, the potential new superintendents. So don't forget that. It's going to be at the John Evans Elementary School from 4 until 6 p.m. this afternoon. So there you go. Don't forget that. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, too, don't forget to take your clothes into Darrow's Cleaners to get them dry cleaned and looking almost like brand new. And don't put those winter coats away yet when I look outside this morning. But don't forget, take your winter coats and your sweaters and everything in there, and don't just throw them in the closet or the drawer and then say, oh, I'll get them clean next fall. Get them clean now. They'll be a lot better for your clothes. So please take them in there to Darrow's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley, with Kevin and Cindy and the whole crew serving you at Darrow's Cleaners. Absolutely the best. I hope you had, with your family, a very nice Easter weekend. We did. Had the grandkids over for a while, and on Friday, the older two, Jackson and Dawson, were over helping us and doing a lot of help with the yard work and everything, and had a chance to go over and eat dinner with them. And then we had a get-together yesterday, strawberry shortcake out by the arena. Oh, it was great, and just a wonderful, wonderful day. Got up and went to the early sunrise service at church. What a great Easter. Absolutely a blessing. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. And they're open at 7:30 in the morning till 5, Monday through Friday. And they've got all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. That's not brag, that's a fact. They have got it all. They've got the very experienced and knowledgeable people working there. They can and they will help you. At Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Call them at 678-0459. I want to kind of give you a heads up, folks. You've been so good to me on this program, all of our listeners, that as you know, we're drawing into the primary political season, and there are going to be thousands of ads. I'm serious. We're just going to be deluged, which I understand and respect, because everybody wants to get your vote for the primaries. So please, bear with us. We're going to have some really heavy logs. You know, the logs are the sheets that we live and abide by as far as telling us what we have to play at a certain time. And so bear with us, because things are going to get a little bit tough over the next couple of weeks, and we just ask you to have patience with us, okay? Patience and Zeb Bell. Those are two words that are not synonymous, but I ask you to help me, please. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time at America's Diner. Oh, it's good. Always good. And that's the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. We always look forward to going over there and having a great menu choices and be served by the nicest people. At Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley, you stop in and see those good folks today. I mentioned in the opening, and I just absolutely could not believe when I was informed about all of this story of over 1,200 illegal aliens are marching northward from, many of them from Honduras, and coming up from that area through Mexico with the demands that they're going to march right smack dab into the United States of America. Yeah, they're going to march right in here. And according to some of the frivolous and stupid laws that the Democrats had passed when Obama was in order, that they can't stop them. The Border Patrol is going to have their hands tied. This makes no sense to me whatsoever, and I'm going to be following this story every day. And in this group, or this gang, if you will, that's going to be coming up and demanding that they come to America are many, many MS-13 members and many felons. And they're demanding that they're going to be coming in here to America. They are barging in here illegally. And my first thought was, you've got to be kidding me. Have we thrown away our laws? Have we thrown away our Constitution? Have we thrown away any semblance of borders, and now we're going to be dictated to by over 1,200 illegals in a band or a gang or a mafia coming up here and demanding that we take them in? Why can't we stop them? Why can't we stop them? Why can't we, the citizens of the United States? I know you're going to say, Zeb, you're preaching vigilante justice. Yeah, I am. How dare we, the citizens and taxpayers of this country, allow a group of thugs and punks and felons and demanders, if you will, to say, well, we're coming in and you can't do anything about it. We're going to come in. You're going to pay us when we get here. We're going to go on your welfare. We're just going to take your money. Now there, take it. This is unbelievable. And the media, what a bunch of lame brains they are, they're rejoicing in this and cheering them on. I saw some of the people on MSNBC. I listened to some of the commentary on ABC and NBC and CBS. And I sat back in my chair and I thought, this can't happen. Not here in America. We're going to be demanded that we are going to take them in and nothing can be done. This absolutely mocks and belittles all the people that have come to this country through the legal channels. All the people that stood in line. All the people that honored our laws and our regulations. It mocks them. It belittles them. And these people, this gang of thugs and punks, need to be stopped. Please, what are your thoughts, or don't you care? This is an invasion. Can you tell me one other country in the world today, please, one other country, where you can have a group like this march up to their border and say, we're coming in, you can't do a thing about it, take us in, feed us, here we are. Caller, I'm going to ask your patience. I'll be right with you. Thank you for your call to break the ice this morning, and I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody about Pomerelle Place. a place for senior living. And boy, I'll tell you, it offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Living alone can be very dangerous. Not only the isolation and the loneliness, but also if you become injured or you're not eating properly or missing your medication, please check with Pomerel Place today. It's a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. Number to call 677-8212. Really, really good people. And also, real quick, I want to remind you about the Salmon Select Horse Sale. This is a ripping good sale. And boy, do they have a good time up there. Fred Snook is the head man at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds in Salmon, Idaho. It's going to be April 12th through the 15th, and they've got absolutely the best of all kinds of horses coming into that sale. It's Idaho's premier horse sale, starting on Thursday, April 12th, and then on Friday they're going to have the big mule sale, Saturday the big horse sale. Woo, don't miss it. Salmon Select Horse Sale at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds in Salmon, April 12th through the 15th. Caller, good morning, and thank you for your patience.
You're welcome, Zeb. I'm not normally a man of violence, but this is an invasion, and there's no other way or two ways about it. This is an invasion.
It is.
And I feel that we need to secure our borders by any means necessary. I hate to see people killed. I hate to see harm or violence done to anybody who is innocent. However, I don't think these people coming at us are innocent. I think they have alternative motives than just coming here.
Well, Riley, let me ask you a question right there. I mean, have you ever heard of this happening in any other country to where they say, we're coming in, you can't do a thing about it, you're not going to stop us, we're coming?
No, it hasn't. And I don't really know the laws of Mexico that well, but from what I understand, they wouldn't tolerate it coming from the other way.
That's exactly right.
And if people want us to take care of people from Central America, then why don't we just annex them and get it over with? We're doing it anyway. Not that I want to, but it comes down to this, and I'll make it brief. During World War II, Japan did not invade U.S. mainland for one simple fact. Their emperor said, behind every blade of grass be a rifle.
Yep.
We need to stand up and protect what we have, or we're not going to have it. I'm getting tired of people on the left just letting us push their dust under the rug.
And we have so many, and we've got a little feedback on this one over wheels at the station. But, Riley, we've got so many people right here in this area, the bleeding heart liberals, that are absolutely listening to you and I and cringing because we would stop these people from coming to America. Well, yes, I want to stop them. I am sick and tired of the cost to the American taxpayer, i.e. you and me, and I am sick and tired of being demanded that they're coming in and we can't do a thing to stop them.
Well, I look at it this way. If they're coming here with an honest, content of heart to be good, to do good things and become great, then they'll do it by legal means. And if they're not, and they come here by illegal means, or legal means, either one, and they're causing problems, they need to go into story.
Yeah.
But if the ones who really, really want to work hard, and I know quite a few people who've immigrated to the U.S., and they could work really hard, then let them come. Legally, not illegally.
Riley, thank you. It's you always bring a good viewpoint this morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah, stay dry, my friend.
All right, I will. You know, I don't know. Come on, folks. This is really, really serious. We don't know who is in this band of thugs, and that's what I'm going to call them. I know the liberals out there are going, oh, well, they're not thugs. Why, they're moms and dads and their children, and they just want to have a better life in America. Oh, don't give me that. We have got rules, regulations, and laws that are being stepped on and ground into the dirt. And for all you bleeding heart liberals, my goodness, what do you want? Just open borders? Here we go, willy-nilly, all over the place. But yet you and I, the American taxpayers, are going to pay for this foolishness? Are you nuts? Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget Dino's Septic Service over in Rupert. Septic tanks pumped, septic tanks and drain fields installed, backhoe services, water and sewer lines installed, liquid waste removal. They do the job that you and I don't want to do. Dino's Septic Service. Oh, absolutely. Fast, fair, friendly service serving you. Rupert number to call. Call them today. 436-6526. Or in Burley, 678-1638. And the big truck that that says smells cargo on the way. They are great people to work with. Dino Septic Service, you call them right now. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, there's a saying that was years and years ago in the 1700s, or even earlier than that. The British were coming, the British were coming. And what did the American people do?
They got ready.
They stood up to them.
That's right.
And they fought them and everything. In the end, they won.
You know, Keith, I don't want to embarrass you. You're a very good friend of mine, but you're a little bit older than I am. Are you not just absolutely enraged that America all of a sudden is being demanded to and dictated to by a gang?
Yeah, I just cannot believe it. That, you know, if we were back in the old days, of, you know, when the British were coming, we'd be armed.
Yeah.
And if some people set one foot on our soil, we kill them.
They're absolutely...
They're gonna kill us.
I couldn't agree with you more.
13, they mean business, I'll guarantee you that.
You got it right. Why in the world are we even I can't imagine not stopping them at the border and saying, don't let the door of our border gate hit you in the rear end on the way back south because we don't want you here. Why in the world are we being demanded to? This just drives me nuts.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, the British were wearing red coats.
Yeah.
And so you could tell who you're fighting against. These people will try to just infiltrate us and take us down.
Oh, Keith, I'm just so upset about this story this morning. I'm just livid. Thank you for your call. You're a dear friend. God bless. Have a good day. Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. Stand by. I'll get you right on the air after I tell everybody about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Hello, Nick Greenwell and the rest of his great, and I mean this, I don't say this lightly, they are phenomenal physical therapists over there serving you, helping you with aches and pains, recover from surgery or an accident. Believe me, they know all the exercises, and they have the only hydrotherapy pool, the only pool of its type in this area. I bit my tongue. And they would really appreciate it if you give them a call, make an appointment. 678-1191. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. What I was seeing with all this going on with the Hondurans and everything coming up to the border and wanting to come over and stuff like that, and with that being said, with the gun control being pushed, all this stuff that's really adverse, it's going on all at the same time. Do you not see George Soros' handprints all over in that?
Absolutely. It is nothing more than a very well orchestrated plot to throw over and turn over American rules, regulatory means, and laws. And George Soros, of course, has his filthy, greedy, grimy hands in the middle of it.
Oh, he said he absolutely hates America. He said that for years.
Yeah, but where did he get all of his money?
Yeah, illegally, I'm sure.
Well, not illegally, but I mean, all these rich people that are condemning and absolutely putting down America, and whether it's Hollywood or whether it's the likes of George Soros or whether it's Thomas Stiers or anyone, they've made buku money right here in the United States, and they, of course, being of liberal values, which liberals don't have any values as far as I'm concerned, want to do everything they can to condemn the hand that has fed them.
Exactly. Well, I won't hold you for any more time, Jeb. I got to get up and get something done here.
All right, well, listen.
Hey, have a great day.
Thank you. You're a good friend. Thank you very much. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead quickly, please.
Zeb,
yes, sir.
What happened to Trump? Why can't he stop some of this stuff?
Well, wait a minute, Bob.
I think we're still under Obama's rule.
Bob, wait a minute. You're not being fair. There were a lot of rules and regulations put in through the Obama administration and democratically controlled Senate and Congress that absolutely are tying the hands. You know that for a fact because Trump hasn't even been able yet to fill all the positions in his cabinet because of the Democrats not dragging their feet. They're dragging their knuckles, and they've slowed everything down. So you know that's the truth.
Yes, I know. But gosh, we can send somebody to the border and say, hey, stop.
Why shouldn't we? Well, you know, really, what is wrong with us as American citizens that I believe in vigilante justice in this case. How dare they invade our country? If it was during the middle of any war, whether it's overseas or here, we need to stop an invasion of people that say we're coming in and you can't stop us.
I'd like to see them do this to Russia.
Oh.
Thanks, Zeb. Have a good day.
You too, Bob. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. But right now I've got to give away some cookies, okay, to Sophie's Chatterbox. And what a great place to go. What a super restaurant. And, of course, great bakery. All the cookies, pies, and the breads, and the biscuits. And, of course, oh, my goodness, wedding cakes. They do a great job on wedding cakes at Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. And this is a contest for a dozen cookies, and if you win and you're a first-time caller, you can get the cookies, and all you have to do is call them up and tell them when you'll be there. Here's the question. It's an easy one today. We just started Major League Baseball season this past week. I want somebody to call me right now and name the teams that have a bird as their mascot. Name the Major League Baseball teams that have a bird as their mascot. Quickly call me at 436-2244 or 1-866-927-4587. Tell me the name of the Major League Baseball teams that have a bird as a mascot. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb, would that be the Cardinals?
Well, what about the other ones?
Okay.
All right, there's more than one.
Okay.
All right, sir.
That's the one I know.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. He's got one of the teams correct, but there's more than one. Name the Major League Baseball teams that have a bird as a mascot. Please call me quickly at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587, and you can win the dozen cookies. I thought this would be a shoo-in this morning. Quickly, give me a call. Let me have the answer, and you can win the cookies. While I'm waiting for your call, I want to remind you, too, about Berry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. Oh, my goodness sakes, they've got all the Bobcats. Yes, they do. Bobcat excavators, new and used excavators for sale or rent, all shapes and sizes. And they've got all the Doosan equipment. They've got the Walker lawnmowers. Oh, don't let today's storm and the snow and the rain, don't let it fool you. We'll be all mowing lawn on a regular basis here pretty quick. Check it out. Equipment rentals and retail equipment sales at Berry Equipment and Rental at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli, and in Nampa. Don't forget Berry Equipment and Rental. Quickly, call me. Come on, I want to give those cookies away. Everybody's going, well, gee, I didn't know there was more than one. Yes, there is. Tell me the names of the Major League Baseball teams that have a bird as a mascot. What is it? Who are they? Come on, give me a call quickly at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I honestly, when I thought of that this morning, that'll be a piece of cake, that'll be a shoe-in. Somebody will have that in no time at all, bim, bam, boom, and we'll give away the cookies. So I will say the caller that called a few minutes ago had one of the teams. And let's see if this caller can come up with it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Baltimore Orioles, St. Louis Cardinals.
That it?
Yeah.
You're wrong. Thank you for your try. I appreciate it. Oh, Oh, my. I'm really shocked about this. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
We got the Baltimore Orioles, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Cardinals.
And what is your name?
Cindy.
Cindy what?
Hotchkiss.
Hotchkiss? Well, Cindy, I want to compliment you because you came up with all three teams, the Toronto Blue Jays, St. Louis Cardinals, and the Baltimore Orioles. You call over to our friends at Sophie's and tell them when you're going to be in there to pick up your cookies and enjoy.
All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. God bless you. Thank you so much. Cindy Hotchkiss. Thank you. The Blue Jays, the Cardinals, and the Orioles. Ha! Gotcha. I thought that'd be an easy one. Hey, don't forget Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or go to their website, ramseysonline.com. I really would appreciate your calls and talk to me about this illegal invasion into our country and the complete in-your-face attitude by, and I'm sure the numbers are going to grow as they get closer and closer to our borders. They are saying about 1,200, and I'm going to make a wild stab in the dark that by the time they get up to the border on our south, they're going to be saying maybe 2,000 to 3,000. This has absolutely got to stop. What do you think about this as they are making demands that we can't stop them and they're coming in and whether we like it or not? Your calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. There are no words that legally with the FCC I can use on the air that would let me express how low and despicable I think Elizabeth Warren is for going to foreign countries like China and other countries and standing up at podiums and condemning and damning the United States of America. How could anybody in their right mind, how could anybody that gets out of bed in the morning and looks to our flag flying high on that pole and realizing the blood, sweat, and tears and the lives that were given to keep that flag flying high, how could anybody go to a foreign country and condemn the United States of America and then apologize for America? That's why I found Barack Obama to be despicable. Going to our enemies and going around and circumventing our current administration and condemning the United States, our policies, I will simply say that Elizabeth Warren is as low as the lowest, filthiest traitor that ever did anything against our country. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
I have an opinion on this immigration thing. Our president is supposed to have the right to call up the National Guard in cases of national emergency. I think this would qualify as a national emergency.
Why not? I am on your side 1,000 times over. I think we ought to put the National Guard on the border. I think we ought to employ force on the border. I think we need to make sure that every loophole, every in and around movement that might circumvent our laws and regulatory means should be tightened up. I agree with you over and over.
That was my opinion, and I'm on the same opinion you are of this Elizabeth Warren jackass.
Well, I know how you feel. Hey, God bless you. Have a great day. Thank you. I like her. Well, I don't think I could have summed it up any better about what Elizabeth Warren is. Now, how do you go to another country that absolutely relishes in hearing the degrading and the demonizing of America from an American that wants to be a president of this country? Elizabeth Warren is the lowest of the low. And I just really can't understand how anybody could put together a movement for her here in this area or anywhere to become possibly the president of this United States. She is despicable. She is absolutely a traitor. Calls welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Bob Nunini is running for lieutenant governor of the state of Idaho, and Idaho needs Nunini. Proven effective conservative leadership. On education, he wants parental choice in education. On health care, absolutely wants to help promote quality, affordable health care. Promote competition and transparency. Don't forget, vote on May 15th in the primaries for Bob Nunini for a lieutenant governor, paid for by the committee to elect Bob Nunini to lieutenant governor. Treasurer R. Scott Hogue. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Elizabeth Warren, a detestable person. You know, I got to tell you this story about a teacher with a mouth out of control at a Georgia elementary school. I'm not kidding. And by the way, Wheels, I'm hearing a bunch of static, I know probably from the weather or whatever. How bad is the line this morning? Wheels, are you there? Evidently not. Might be on the phone. But anyway, a teacher, absolutely at a middle school in Georgia, was standing up, ranting and raving against America and saying America never was great. Can you imagine this? A sixth grade teacher in the class ranting against President Trump in America and railing against whites and whites in politics, and then she said America is not great and never was. You know, and then she made this statement that absolutely blows my mind. She said that Make America Great Again could be a precursor to bringing back segregation. This is absolutely insane. At a sixth grade class in Georgia? What are your thoughts about this? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again.
Yes, sir.
You know, Elizabeth Warren going off and doing things like that, I think these people who in our United States government should not be able to have their expenses paid to go bash us like Elizabeth Warren does. I think it's despicable, and I don't know what else to say about her, but she's something else.
Yeah, but Keith, isn't it aiding and abetting our enemies? Isn't it providing energy to their anti-American cause? Isn't it providing our enemies with more of an impetus to go ahead and say, oh, Americans are bad. All Americans are bad. Why, listen, here's Elizabeth Warren, a senator from Massachusetts, and she's telling everybody, oh, we're bad, America's terrible. She's nothing more than a lowly traitor.
Well, and another thing, I don't think stopping these intruders at the border is the answer. We got to stop them before they get there.
I agree. Well, how are you going to do that?
They're just going to spread out like you don't know what, and we won't be able to find out who they are until it's too late.
Oh, yeah, but how are we going to stop them when they're in another foreign country, i.e. Mexico, without breaking their border laws? We can't go in there, but we let everybody in here.
Well, how are they going to get across if they're going to stop them? But they're not going to.
That's the problem.
They're going to let them filter right on through because the president of Mexico does not like us.
Well, and not only that, but the bleeding heart liberals, these people with the loose lips that really don't say anything of any merit, they're going to come out and say, oh, these poor people, all they want to do is just come to America for a better life. And boy, it's been proven already, my dear friend Keith, that many of them are MS-13 members. Many of them are felons. They want to, what in the world? Why do we have to take all the people in the world to live here at our expense?
I'd like to see every one of those people that get up there and preach these things to have one of those people come live at their house.
Absolutely.
That should be a requirement.
Oh, I am so frustrated over our lack of respect for our laws and our Constitution. Keith, I know you served in the military. My goodness, this goes against everything that America stands for.
Everything. I mean, we're just kind of helpless.
Yeah.
Why don't we? I do have a plan, though, that may work. Why don't we go over in Afghanistan and Syria and bring those folks here to protect the borders?
Well, no, the lady...
Not making any headway over there.
Yeah, I can't argue that point with you at all. But I will say the lady that called a little bit ago said, hey, he can appoint the National Guard in a national crisis to help us on our borders. He, meaning Trump, he should. We should have the National Guard standing there with full battle dress on and loaded rifles and say, no, you're not going to invade this country. That's what they're doing. It's an invasion. That's criminal. It's an act of violence and war, and they should be stopped.
You know, the one problem that would be with the National Guard is these are your neighbors, the people live next door to you. They work at our factories and places like that. And they'll have to be displaced by putting them on the border. So what are we going to do?
Yeah. I'm just frustrated this morning. I love this country. It's given me and provided me so much. But why should I sit back and see it torn asunder by those that are not trying to come in here legally and are making demands on you and me and every legal, honest citizen taxpayer? We're coming in. You can't stop us. This is insane.
What are we going to do? If they come to your house, what are you going to do?
I'd rather not even make a comment on that right now. Thank you, Keith.
I feel the same way you do. I feel like I'm helpless. Even if you have arms, you don't know who you're fighting.
Yeah, and my nation that I love, this nation that I love, and I mean that, is not doing anything with the lack of political guts, if you will, to stand up and protect me and you and others. They're more in favor of letting illegals come in here and basically run the show.
You know, when our own U.S. senators and congressmen are turncoats against their own whatever you call it, because we've chosen up sides, and I mean, we have chosen sides, because if you're a Democrat, you don't even speak to a Republican, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Now, this one Republican representative...
Real fast, Keith, I got to get a weather forecast.
Mike Simpson.
Yeah. Real fast, Keith, I got to get a weather forecast on, old buddy. I'm running way late. I'm about 5-6 minutes late. Thank you. I appreciate it always.
He was the one who suggested that Cecil Andrus have a park named after him.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that right now this morning. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, I think. Hey, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. We got to get to a weather forecast brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Trust your hearing health to Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell. Absolutely. They are located right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. The number to call, 312-0957. They are the best at what they do, serving you. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. aids, 312-0957. Right now, here's the weather.
Looks like we're in a high wind warning in effect. All you big riggers, please be careful out there. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting scattered rain showers this morning and maybe some scattered snow showers up on the higher elevations. Cloudy skies becoming mostly sunny by this afternoon. However, there is the wind. Looking at a west wind right around 30 miles an hour, increasing to 40 miles an hour this afternoon. Gust high is 55 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 45 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. The winds will continue. However, they will die down. For tomorrow, sunny skies with a high of 51, mostly cloudy for tomorrow night with a low of 33. Then for Wednesday, cloudy skies and a high of 58. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Welcome back, by the way. She was on vacation. Well-deserved. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Pickup, two outstanding audiologists, are going to be there treating you with all your hearing health questions, and they have the answers at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And the number to call to make an appointment, 312-0957. Give me a call, please, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I saw this clip on the news this morning, and again, my morning did not start off well at 4 a.m. when I had to listen to the likes of Elizabeth Warren condemning America, and then I had to listen to a story of all these illegal mobs that want to come up to our borders and demand that they come in, and then I heard this. At a Seattle Mariners game this weekend, they had a youth group on the field for the national anthem. And during the anthem, two of the youth group took a knee. Well, it's done. It's over. But I hope that when those kids got home, Mom and Dad had a great big dustpan or maybe a switch or whatever and said to Junior, bend over, buddy, because you live in the greatest country in the world, and it's about time you started showing some appreciation, and you're going to get a real good wallop on your backside. Yes, I'm advocating that. Yes, I think they need to be spanked. Yes, I think they need to have a complete personality adjustment. Living in this, the greatest country ever in the history of the world, and you've got two of these dimwit kids taking a knee during our national anthem, following in the likes of that absolute troublemaker Colin Kaepernick. This is disgusting. What would you do? What would you do if your 12 or 13-year-old took a knee when they were part of a opening of the baseball game and the national anthem's played and they just take a knee? What would you do when little Johnny came home? I know if it were my little Johnny, he may have a hard time trying to sit on that chair and eat the dinner that evening. This is out of hand, folks. We got to change things. Wheels, can you hear me now? Have you got your headset on? Can you hear me? I want you to talk to me a minute.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. Leave that headset on, old buddy. The line, it may be due to the weather, I'm sure, but how are we coming through? I've had a little scratchiness over here.
It's a little scratchy, but it's nothing to interrupt with the show.
However,
all right. If you feel like we need to change phone lines, then we can, too.
I'll call you back during the news. Okay, buddy.
Sir.
Thank you. Don't forget to roll into spring with a great big spring tires sale from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Oh, I'm telling you, they've got all the tires for your kind of driving, for your cars, your pickups, your SUVs. They've got them all. Horse trailers, boat trailers. Now's the time. Now's the time to get in there. Big spring tire sale going on now. And don't forget the very best in brake service. And, of course, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Nobody does it better. They are service-oriented to serve serve you and have you drive safely. Check it out. Big Spring Tire Sale with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline and Twin, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wheels, can we have this good word, please, for Tommy Ahlquist, and then go to the news? Oh, good morning and welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch on a Monday, April 2 on the calendar. And, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale going on right now. And also some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have our guest with us in just a few moments, but I also want to remind you about these good words. Wheels, how about Western Way Services?
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Way Services, I urge you, I mean this. We've been with those folks for a long time. Get on the route service and they'll come get your garbage once a week. It's gone. It's out of there. Absolutely reliable folks at Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service today, 734-6969. Western Way Services, serving you. Don't forget Airvana. Yes, sirree. We want to remind you the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. When you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvan is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or visit their website, ramseysonline.com. And real quick, on a very rainy, snowy, windy morning, I also want to remind you about our friends at Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward. He's the manager along with his family and staff serving you. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. And when there's the passing of a loved one, they are always there to help you with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. They really care. Please call them at 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Well, I can't tell this man how much I appreciate him being on my program, especially this morning, because I am absolutely jumping up and down livid over the story about the 1,200 or many, many more illegal aliens that are going to basically come up to our southern border and say, you can't stop us, we're coming on in. Frosty Woldridge, what did you think or say when you heard about this mass invasion? And they don't care. They're coming in whether we like it or not.
Good morning, Zeb, and good morning, everyone listening. That is what has become of years of complete and total disregard for our laws by our presidents, and certainly by our Congresses. And when you don't fund the Border Patrol and you allow all of these invaders the ability to come into our country without any invitation, and certainly without any warrant whatsoever, they're now coming in and defying us. And as I said in the past, corruption becomes a mechanism by which third world countries operate. And I think that little sentence right there may define America in the 21st century and the dilemma of becoming a third world country, because without a doubt, Congress is not enforcing the laws internally as to transportation, as to housing, as to employing illegal aliens. It's a federal offense, and that's not being enforced and hasn't been for 40 years.
And now we're really starting to reap the whirlwind of consequences of becoming a corrupt government, and our inability to enforce our borders is exactly what's happening. And that onslaught of a year or so ago was over 65,000 children. That was all set up. The Mexican government was literally sloughing off all of those 65,000 kids onto us, and we took them in. And now we're seeing more of the invasion continue, and that's what we're facing.
You know, I'm so glad you're on the air this morning, because I was in contact with you over a week ago in regards to an op-ed piece in our local paper by Jim Jones, former Attorney General for the state of Idaho, and some of the loopy left ideas he had on immigration. I know you've read that editorial that he wrote for our local newspaper. What were your thoughts about some of his concepts about, let them in, man, we need them?
Well, this again is one of the erroneous leaders, if you will, that simply is out of touch with what's going on in America. We are creating a subclass, and we're also creating a parallel society of people who simply cannot function in a first world country. They don't have the language skills. They certainly don't have the intellectual educational skills. And they certainly don't have any kind of ability to work into the American way of life. And so what we're seeing is more subsets. And we're seeing those subsets, parallel societies, developing all over the country. And I was really amazed. One Facebook page said about picking up trash, we've got to have a national pulling in the same direction to start picking up trash around the country. And I wrote back as a response to that Facebook post, I said, that's not ever going to happen again, because there's not enough Americans who are pulling in the same direction, who have the same cultural care and concern. You know, you go to all of the, here in Colorado, you have a $1,000 fine for throwing trash. It says $1,000 fine for littering at the on the on-ramps and the off-ramps and right there at the rest areas, and people throw the trash right there where the sign is, even though it's $1,000. And so I said, we now have a huge multicultural society. We were once, again, 90% European Americans back in 1965, with 7% African Americans and 3% Hispanics. And now, of course, we're everybody else's country. And you get all of these people from all these third world countries, and throwing trash is an automatic. I can tell you that I visited them. So that's what's happening, subcultures, parallel societies, and no one's pulling in the direction of the American way. And that's what we're facing right now. And this man, Jim Jones, totally out of touch with reality. Of course, I saw his picture. He's probably over 75, so he's totally out of touch with what's really going on in America. And that's the sad reality that we're facing.
You know, but to be demanded to, this is what really, I think, is really on my case this morning. They are telling us they're going to march right across our borders. They're telling us they are not going to be stopped. I mean, can you please tell me any other country in the world, or the reverse psychology, could we demand that we're going to march across the Mexican border and go all the way to Mexico City? No! I mean, why are we putting up with this? We should have the National Guard there armed to the teeth and turn them back.
We should have the National Guard. We should have the U.S. Army. Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution states that, and this is, I know this particular article, that our federal government should protect us against invasion. And that's what this is. Article 4, Section 4, you can all look it up, that the federal government must protect the American people from invasion, and they're simply not doing it. That means your two senators right there in Idaho, my two senators in Colorado, all the senators across the country, they're not protecting us. They're not serving us. They're not serving the U.S. Constitution, and they're certainly not serving their oath of office. And the same thing with the House members. We've got 535 really useless representatives who are literally being either paid off, or they are being shown how to turn a blind eye and make sure that our borders are not secure. That is what we're facing right now.
You know, Frosty, you've written all the books and all the stories on illegal aliens coming into this country and the problems with our environment, the problems with our housing, the problems with not enough sustenance on their part to take care of themselves, and it falls back on the American taxpayer. I'm just at my wit's end this morning thinking that we've got these people, a mob, a gang, just absolutely people that are demanding they're going to come in, they're going to take advantage of the American dream, whether we like it or not. 20 years ago, I never thought that we would see this kind of demanding, and nobody on this side of the fence, the Americans, our senators and congressmen, and this administration have any guts or backbone to say, no, you're not either. What's going on here?
Well, as a matter of fact, our governors are joining these people in facilitating their invasion. That's happened with Jerry Brown, the governor of California. He is facilitating the invasion. He's inviting the invasion. He's protecting the invaders. Your sanctuary cities, the mayors of Los Angeles, the mayor of San Francisco, Stockton, you can right on down the line. The same thing's happening up in Seattle. They're protecting the illegal aliens. The same thing's happening in Chicago. You have the governor of Illinois protecting illegal aliens. The same thing is going on. Mayor de Blasio of New York City, and certainly Governor Cuomo, he is absolutely protecting illegal aliens. Denver, Colorado, Mayor Michael Hancock has and facilitates, along with the city council, a sanctuary city, and the governor of Colorado, exactly the same. You're having this thing facilitated by the very leaders who are elected and sworn to duty and sworn to uphold the Constitution, actually joining in with all of these illegal aliens, violating our borders, violating our laws, and yet people that are supposed to protect us and supposed to serve us are actually facilitating and protecting and facilitating, again, the illegal aliens. Same thing with the anchor babies at $350,000 a year. The same thing what's going on with chain migration. That hasn't been stopped whatsoever. Certainly the diversity visas with even these Muslims that have been killing American citizens, running them down in New York City. Instead of doing something about it, they're facilitating it, Zeb. And I don't know what you do when people will not adhere to the laws of the land, and the American people keep electing them back into office. We're literally asking for our country to be overrun.
I talked, since you were on the phone with me last week, I've talked to many of my friends down in California at various locations where I've announced rodeos over the many, many, many years in California. Frosty, I have never heard them talk with so much hatred against Governor Jerry Brown, against the legislature, against what's going on in the state of California. I mean, the phone line was red pistol hot. These folks that I talk to are absolutely livid over what's going on in their state and seeing the degradation of their state.
Well, and also understand this, thousands, in fact, tens of thousands of people are moving out of California, and they're moving to other states that have less impact of all of this illegal and legal migration. And again, as I've been speaking with you, we've been going on for close to 20 years now together. We have stood shoulder to shoulder. We have stated the facts. And yet the American people have not risen up, have not said anything to stop this. And even with President Trump in office, they call it the deep state. There's powerful forces in this country that are absolutely making sure that the borders stay open for illegal aliens. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Marriott Hotels, McDonald's, Vail Mountain Resorts, certainly Holiday Inns, certainly Hormel Foods, Tyson Chicken. All of the people who make huge money on illegal alien labor and also legal alien labor at, baseline pay, in other words, 21st century slave labor, are the ones that are really pushing the dollars into the pockets of all of these paid-off senators and House reps, and that's why you're seeing nothing done to stop this invasion of our country.
You know, I'm almost to the point this morning, and I mean this. You and I, like you said, we've been friends for almost 20 years. But when I looked at these gangs, these acting like mafia, saying, we're coming in, you can't do a thing about it, we're going to march right into the United States, I'm beginning to think we've lost it. I'm beginning to think that people aren't going to stand up for the Constitution and the value system of America. I said earlier this morning, and I know I'm going to be criticized for it, but I mean it, I think we need to have a vigilante force on the border and say, no, you're not coming in. This is our country. We're the taxpayers, and God bless the United States of America and our Constitution. Hit the road, Jack. Turn around and go south.
You know, it's called the militia, and that is a possibility at some point. But probably that militia will be forming in the states that are most affected. And that's what's going to happen. And that's unfortunately what we're facing is, again, riots in the streets of America as all of these different forces become stronger. And then there's going to be those of us who are Americans who are defending our cities or defending our homes or defending our communities. Unfortunately, that kind of a play out, if you will, that kind of a result or that kind of an ending, literally is the loss of the rule of law.
Yep.
Where we then get so fractured and fragmented, we can't carry on the rule of law. The same thing's happening over in places like Stockholm, Sweden. Places like Malmo, Sweden, where these Middle Eastern and all these Africans. You can go to Dublin, Ireland now. Even in Ireland, the Nigerians have come in and they're literally taking over entire cities. Because once they take over a city, they get all the housing, then all of the Irish just leave. They go out into the countryside and start building smaller cities away from all of that which they have allowed to be imported or invading their countries. Well, the same thing's happening here. Again, we're seeing parallel societies. We're seeing parallel cities. Chicago. Do you think Chicago's an American city? I don't think so. There's well over 500,000 illegal aliens, and it's created an economic system that works under the table. It's created a complete destruction of the school systems right there in Chicago. Do you think anybody's getting an education in Chicago? Certainly not Americans. Because of all the languages. Here in Colorado, Denver, with 173 different languages in Denver public schools, do you think the American kids are getting an education? No, because they have to play to all of the lowest common denominators, and there's all these people that have no ability to function, speak English, do mathematics, do English, do history, do biology, and all that goes with that. That's what you're seeing, and it's going to continue as long as your two senators, my two senators, and all of these senators will not protect our borders, and that is the bottom line.
Yeah, but they're at the bottom line, Frosty, and I'm at the bottom of the line right now this morning, absolutely irate over a lack of standing up for our laws and our regulatory means in this country and also our Constitution. What do? I mean, when you talk to these guys, I don't care if it's senators or congressmen, they just give you lip service or a form letter, and then they pat you on the head and say, I'm in office, I'll take care of it. And then they go back on the Potomac and don't do one doggone thing.
Well, that's correct. I know that personally from Michael Bennett. He's been in office for about 8 or 10 years now. He's done nothing. I've gone into the office. I've talked to his staff. I've talked to Michael Kaufman personally in his office 9 years ago. He's done absolutely nothing after I showed him, and I gave him a copy of my book. America on the Brink, the next added 100 million Americans. I've said, we can't sustain this. I did the same thing at Cory Gardner's. I did the same thing when Mark Udall was the Democratic senator from the Colorado. They won't do anything. And why they won't do anything is beyond my understanding, because at some point, Zeb, every one of us is going to be affected, not only by our taxes, because we pay almost $300 billion a year for this invasion, to pay for these people, to pay for their hospitals, pay for their babies, pay for their free food stamps, pay for their free breakfasts and lunches, pay for their K through 12 for their kids. We're paying in the crimes. We're paying more insurance because these people don't get insurance for their cars. The only thing they do at an accident is they run from the scene. So again, we're all going to pay, and we're going to continue to keep paying more and more on every level as long as we keep electing and or the people that we do elect absolutely do nothing to enforce our laws. Again, Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, they're not doing anything about that.
I agree.
And actually, they're neutralizing President Trump. The whole Congress is neutralizing him along with all of these federal courts. They're literally neutralizing any executive order he's put out to protect us. Same thing, Ann Cochran, if you go to, refugee resettlementwatch.wordpress.com. The invasion's still happening with the refugees. They're still coming in. I don't know what you do past what we do. Alert people, tell them to get into the faces of the elected leaders, and past that, we're seeing our country becoming fragmented and fractured and overpopulated by all of these immigrants.
Absolutely.
It's not going to have a good ending.
We have a caller with a question, and caller, I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm only going to give you about 15 seconds. Quickly, go. I'm almost out of time.
Frosty, Zeb, so long as we allow legal immigration into this country, it's only going to increase and encourage more illegal immigration, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Respond quickly to the caller, Frosty. I got 30 seconds left.
Yeah, he's exactly correct. As long as we keep allowing 1.2 million legal immigrants every year, then we're simply a country that accepts the mass of humanity, and that will also encourage illegal aliens. The caller is right on the money. And that's exactly what's happening to us, Deb.
Time goes too fast, Frosty. I've got to arrange where we can have a full hour on the air. God bless you, my dear friend, back in Golden, Colorado. Frosty Woolridge, thank you so much. Talk to you next Monday.
Godspeed, Zeb.
Thank you, sir. Frosty Woolridge, and boy, we've got a problem, folks, and he's been telling that for a long time, but it just seems like the American government and our senators and congressmen, they just turn a deaf ear and a blind eye. Don't forget Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. And they are a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all. They take care of them all. Don't forget, regardless of the animal, regardless of the size, they want to help you maintain healthy animals all the time. And they've been voted Minnecacha's best veterinary hospital many, many times. Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for cold noses. Wheels, if you're ready over there to hit the button, may we please have that good word for Bob Nonini running for Lieutenant Governor.
Bob Nonini, candidate for Lieutenant Governor. A principled conservative, successful small business owner, legislator, and leader in Idaho. Bob Nonini has earned a 100% rating from the American Conservative Union and received an A+ rating from the National Rifle Association. Bob Nonini, Idaho roots, conservative values, proven results.
Hi, I'm Bob Nonini, and I'm passionate about becoming your next Lieutenant Governor. Being an Idaho native, I grew up understanding the values of hard work and dedication. I believe education is the key to growing Idaho's economy and being prepared to tackle the challenges of the future. Parents having the right to choose how they want to educate their children is crucial. Idaho needs strong leaders who allow their faith, experience, and integrity to do what is necessary in creating a better life for our residents. Experience matters. Experience counts. The choice is clear. Idaho needs Nonini on May 15th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Bob Nonini for Lieutenant Governor. R. Scott Hogue, Treasurer.
And thank you very much. Wheels, you're doing a great job over there. We appreciate it, old buddy. And right now we want to remind everybody, tomorrow we're going to start a brand new season with Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Tune in tomorrow morning at 9:30. We're going to be talking about gardening. We're going to be talking about all things that grow on a program that I've called for the last couple of years, Gardening for Idiots. It was named after me. I'm not a very good gardener. So tune in tomorrow at 9:30. Becky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 west of Paul, and we're going to talk about everything gardening. So it's going to be really interesting. By the way, before we get to our next guest, I also want to remind you about our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Hello, Jeff. Hello, the whole crew over there. My goodness, if you're into springtime and getting everything kind of spruced up, well, they've got everything you need over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. They've got brand new shipments of carpeting and luxury vinyl planks, and they've got all the sofas and the love seats and the recliners. Oh my, have they got a selection of recliners. You got to get in, try one on. They got them for short people, they've got them for tall people, they've got them for skinny people and people like me. So be sure and get in there today. The best place to shop is Lee's Furniture, and they're located at 459 Overland in Burley. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. You get in there today. By the way, too, I want to remind you quickly that, oh yeah, the bad weather's going to go away, and pretty quick, the sun will be shining again. Well, you better get ready to head for the hills and check out all the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Holy moly! You go into that showroom, and I mean, they've got it just stocked full of four-wheelers and side-by-sides, a huge accessory department. Oh, this is where the fun is sold at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. Let's go to the phone line right now, and I always look forward to having this lady on our show. She is excellent, and we say good morning to a lady that writes for the Stream. Liberty McCarter, how are you?
I'm doing great, Zeb. Thanks so much for having me back.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you, especially right after the Easter weekend. And I guess I'll just ask you this. Is there any chance that we can still hear some good news? What's going on?
Well, if you look at headlines any day of the week, you pretty much are going to get depressed. At least that's what I find. It can be so easy to just get caught up in news on TV or on social media and the internet, and it feels like everything is bad. It's always a scandal over here, a terrorist attack over here, and it can be really easy to get down about that and think that, this is the worst things have ever been. But something I wrote about last week during Holy Week was that when we focus so much on the news, we tend to lose perspective, and we forget that things are actually going to get better, and in fact, they might not be as bad right now as they even have been in the past.
I agree with that, and I think sometimes I become real negative, and I look at some of the news, and I look at some of the, if you'll pardon the expression, the nincompoops in the news, some of the senators and congressmen, and some of the inept ways that they conduct business. But, really it's happened before, and we've overcome it. And then with the celebration of Holy Week last week, Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and then Easter on Sunday yesterday, it gives you a hope of a kind of a resurgence and a revival, doesn't it?
It does, because, one of the things that I wrote about and that I know lots of Christians have thought about is, that was the weekend that we just came off of was the commemorating the darkest moment in history. Think about Jesus' disciples. He had told them that he was going to die and rise again, but I don't really know if they understood exactly what would happen. And just imagine if you were there and you saw this man who was supposed to be the Messiah die, and you're like, is that it? What's going to happen next? And then he did rise from the dead, and that's the best news ever. And, the history of the universe that will ever be is that Jesus is alive today. And so when you think about that and you think about kind of, put it in the perspective of eternity and Jesus being alive and how dark things looked back then, but then there was hope. I think we can remember that, Jesus said we were going to have hard times in this life, and we see that around us, but there is hope. He is alive. Things are getting better. And not just, when we get to heaven. I believe things can even get better today, if you just look at history and the different movements and, problems that we've solved, I think, we really do ourselves a disservice if we think that there's nothing that can be done. There's still a lot that can be done to fix what we see around us.
Well, yeah, I will say this, though, Liberty, and I think you'll agree with me on this statement, that this nation right now, in this era, has developed a penchant for slapping God in the face and turning away from Him and the biblical prophecies and the dictates of the Bible. And we'd better turn around and apologize and try to redo some things.
I mean, yeah, definitely so. And, one thing that I kind of like to think about is that, we like to idealize the past, and certainly in the past it was easier to be a Christian in America because more people just accepted the Bible as a moral authority and believed in God. But you did have a lot of people that, maybe they lived their lives according to a basically moral standard, but they didn't really know God and have that relationship with Him because they thought, well, I was born in America, I'm a Christian. And, in light of eternity, that doesn't really do a whole lot. Nowadays, you have people being much more openly hostile to Christianity, and so it is harder for us Christians to just be who we are in this world because, we're facing more and more persecution because of our faith. But, you can look back at other movements led by Christians in the past. I just think of slavery and the abolition movement, or other civil rights things in the past where we had really big problems, and it was Christians leading the way to bring biblical morality back over an area of life. And I think we can do that with abortion. I think we can do that with, other areas of life. And so things might be harder, but at the same time, you kind of have a clearer picture of, well, nobody's pretending to be a Christian and just saying things because they think it's the popular thing to do anymore. You really see people who are lost and people who are saved, and so it almost makes it easier to be a witness.
Let me ask you this, Liberty, and you write about this, so you're very well informed about what I'm going to ask you next. A couple of weeks ago, I had a phone call, and this person on the other end of the line said, I am sick and tired of hearing you say Christian bashing. You're just trying to have people feel sorry for yourself. And boy, I had to really contain my temper, but I see it every day with the job that I'm involved in. I see Christian bashing. I see people that are Christians standing up and they're being persecuted. What are your thoughts?
It definitely is happening. And of course, when we talk about Christian bashing in the United States, we always want to draw the distinction that there are people in other parts of the world that are suffering and dying physical persecution because of their faith. And so we're not at all comparing ourselves to them, but it has to start somewhere. And governments, courts, around the nation in different states are becoming much more hostile to Christianity. Before I worked for the Stream, I worked for a religious liberty nonprofit law firm, so my entire life was hearing day after day about Christians who were being fired or being sued, not because they were trying to, quote, impose their beliefs on anybody, just because they were trying to conduct their own lives according to their faith. You had pastors being fired from their public jobs and having their sermons subpoenaed, and lawyers asking for their personal Bible and sermon notes so that they could scour them for any supposed bias or whatever. So those things really are happening in the United States. And again, we have to keep perspective and not lose hope, but we also have to stand up and fight back because we can't make any positive change if we don't acknowledge the problem.
I'm going to say this, and Wheels, I've got a little feedback coming down the line again. I'm going to say this, and Liberty, if you'd rather not get into this topic, I understand, but I think that the acceptance of giving a free pass to the Islamic religion, the Muslims, is more so today than ever before, and it's so easy for those same people to give a pass to Islam are the ones that are doing a lot of or most of the Christian bashing.
Well, no, I think that's true because Christianity is not the popular religion right now. For a long time in America, it was. But now it's not cool to be a Christian because people see some of, Christianity's beliefs and they think, oh, you're judgmental or you're trying to, impose your morality on me or whatever. But, this backlash to Islamophobia has really gone to the point where people don't want to discriminate, against people of minority religions. But what they don't understand is that if you take away, it's all in the First Amendment, everybody's religious freedom. So if you take away Christians' religious freedom, it's going to set some very bad precedents for everybody else as well. And so that's something Christians can say in defense, and that they do say in defense in court. If you are going to persecute, this person for following their beliefs and the way they operate their business, according to the First Amendment, you can't, persecute Christians either. And so I think that's kind of it's illogical the way Christians are often bashed and other minority religions are protected. But it really comes down to the First Amendment and the freedom of religion that we have to protect for everyone, including ourselves.
I will also say this. You mentioned it a few moments ago about pastors, and this is my feeling, and I think you and I have talked about this before, that now, more so than ever before, the man behind the pulpit, the pastor or leader of the church, has to be extremely vocal, and they have to make a cry out to their congregations to stand up for Christianity. And I will say this, not all but many of the pastors today, I think, are cowards.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a hard place to be, but there's, two different sides. You could rock people into kind of complacence and say, it's not that bad. And when I say to have perspective, I'm not, trying to say downplay the problems that we face. Or pastors can just, talk about, well, things are horrible, so let's just retreat into our little hole and not deal with it. We'll just stay here in the four walls of our church and hope they never come for us. And so you have to have a balance of saying, look, things are bad. We do have hope. We can make a change, but we have to be bold. We have to stand up for the gospel and what we know to be true. We have to keep living out, our faith as Jesus called us to. One of the things my pastor said in church on Easter weekend was that we are called to bring order to chaos and light to darkness. That's what the Lord meant when he said to fill the earth and subdue it. And so we can't do that passively, just, either ignoring problems or hiding from them. If we're going to bring order to the chaos around us and light to the darkness around us, that means we have to stand up for the truth. And pastors really do need to be bold in sending that message to their congregation.
Absolutely. Now, I've got to cut our interview a little bit short because I'm going to try to get Gina on with our news department about a bad accident. But I want to ask you one final thought here, Liberty. Christianity, religion, is there bright hope in the future, or are we going to be pushed further and further from the scene?
Well, spiritually speaking, there is always bright hope, and I think a lot of times we get really caught up in what's happening in America, and we forget that around the world the church is booming, and no matter what happens or how much persecution we face, the church will continue to grow, and that's a wonderful thing, and that kind of helps us to keep perspective. And I haven't lost hope culturally either. I really think, this kind of madness going on, this loss of reason, it can't last forever. And eventually people are going to seek answers, and they're going to want real solid truth, and Christians have to be available to give that to them.
Absolutely. Liberty McCarter, please know that you're welcome on my show anytime, and thank you for the wonderful job you do writing for the stream.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Wheels, do me a favor. Are you right there by the microphone?
I am.
No, okay, buddy. Listen, can you get Gina to give us an update on that very serious accident that took place over in your area? And while I'm waiting to get her on the air, if you would, please, I'll do a commercial, and then we'll come back and see if she's available, okay?
All right, that sounds great with
Thank you. Thank you. Right now, I'd like to remind everybody, when you think about life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, don't forget our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Absolutely dedicated and responsive to your needs, and they're devoted to making sure that you are served. Call for an appointment today at 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. The professionals that are serving you. Let's check with Wheels and see if Gina's available over there at our sister station, Cat Country. Gina, are you there? Now he's probably still getting her. While we have just a moment, I tell you what I'll do. I'll try to get the weather forecast on here real quick. And the weather brought to you this hour by our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years with the best, and I underline that, the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all of this and so much more with the real professionals. Like I said, the best of accounting services to you, your family, and your business. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, and they've got offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's the weather with Gina.
Looks like we're in a high wind warning in effect. All you big riggers, please be careful out there. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting scattered rain showers this morning and maybe some scattered snow showers up in the higher elevations. Cloudy skies becoming mostly sunny by this afternoon. However, there is the wind. Looking at a west wind right around 30 miles an hour, increasing to 40 miles an hour this afternoon. Gust high is 55 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 45 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. The winds will continue. However, they will die down. For tomorrow, sunny skies with a high of 51. Mostly cloudy for tomorrow night with a low of 33. Then for Wednesday, cloudy skies and a high of 58. That is your weather for Zebedee.
Thank you very much, Gina, and brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, the accounting services for you, your family, and your business, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Wheels, did we manage to get her?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, well, that's not Wheels. It scared me. Gina, I'm remote. A lot of people don't realize I'm not anywhere close to the station. I'm about 40 miles away, and we had word from some people calling Deanne about a bad accident. I wanted to get right to the source, and I knew you had all the updates.
Well, okay, so here's what happened. Earlier this morning, just before, I think, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, a semi had gone off of the overpass right there at exit 211, which is right there by the wayside. And his truck fell off the overpass onto Idaho 84, which Idaho 84 is closed at this moment in time. The truck burst into flames. Unfortunately, the driver of that vehicle died. Another truck had hit the semi that had fallen off. The driver of that vehicle is okay, and currently right now I-84 is blocked. Highway 24 is blocked. So if you are needing to go to, like, maybe from Declo to Twin, or maybe you're coming from the Twin area and you need to go east to Pocatello, you're going to have to get off at Burley, travel all the way around to Declo, or what you can do is take exit 208 either in Burley or take the Kasota exit and travel all the way through Paul to get to the highway, or to get to 84. Right now, it's all blocked off.
Gina, let me ask you this. Was it the accident of the truck? Oh, this is so horrendous, going off the overpass.
Reading the story and considering the time of morning that it happened, and this is just speculation at this point in time, so don't take this as gospel. Apparently, according to the news report, the semi-driver had hit the guardrail several times before finally going off the overpass.
Oh, my.
My guess is the driver probably fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh, so it wasn't related to the wind or weather conditions?
I honestly don't think so. Not at that moment in time, because the wind really wasn't that much of a factor. Now it is. But at that moment in time, I'm thinking maybe he fell asleep at the wheel.
So
that's just speculation on my moment. My thought just from the news stories and just the time of the day it was.
Well, now let me ask you also, with the deviations from being on Highway 24 and or the interstate, and you said they have to go a roundabout way to get there, maybe you can explain to people that are sitting in their cars right now and saying, we're from out of the area, we don't know where to go. What landmarks or whatever can they look for?
So if you are, say you're getting close to Burley, and you're just coming up on Kasota Road, and that is exit 206, I think?
I think it is, yeah.
Take exit 206 and travel through Paul and Rupert, and then once you get to Rupert, then you can hop back on Idaho 24 and then you go out to Declo, which is where exit 216 is.
Oh, my.
If you're coming from the opposite direction and say you're just passing Raft River, you're going to want to get off right there at exit 216, which is the Declo exit, and that's where the travel stop 216 is. And then once you're there at the exit, you're going to want to take a right, go into Rupert, and then just follow the Rupert Paul Highway out.
You know, it's a devastating accident, and one of which, when you hear something like this, of a semi-truck or any vehicle going off of an interstate onto the road below, it's just God's blessing there weren't more cars involved.
Well, and, you know, one thing that, you know, if we have big riggers out there that are listening to this program, please know that we are expecting gusts of up to 60 miles an hour today. So if you are traveling unloaded, park it. Park it until this wind advisory is done, because we've had too many accidents where big rigs have gone off of bridges.
Well, look at the Hanson Bridge
really close.
Yeah, the Hanson Bridge and the Prime Bridge in Twin Falls. You know, I sound like a wuss when I say this, but I think you'll appreciate it. I will not go over either bridge with a horse trailer. I have an aluminum horse trailer. I will not go over those bridges empty in windstorms.
No, and right now, I mean, this is, I think it was about 2 years ago, right around this time, is when we had two semis tip over and almost go over the Prime Bridge, and one, I mean, like literally nearly go off the Hanson Bridge.
Right.
So it's this with these windstorms that we get. I mean, if you're driving a high-profile vehicle and you have no load, park it. Just park it.
Absolutely.
Go to the travel areas and just wait out the storm, which unfortunately wind advisory is going to be lifted about 7 o'clock tonight.
Now, I want to tell you how much I appreciate it. I didn't mean to impose on your time, but I knew you'd have the answers.
You got me out of the Monday meeting.
Well, well, thank you very much for that update, Gina. Thank you.
Gotcha, anytime.
Thank you. Wheels, I heard the phone ringing. Do we have someone waiting on the line?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right, caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Jim, talking about that wreck, give you a little bit of information. My yard where I park my truck is right there by the wayside. All of them surface streets around it is choked up and covered with local traffic going in and about. Just urge people to have a little bit of common courtesy for the other drivers. Take your time. You're not in any hurry. It'll get there. I had people cut me off and try to pass 6, 7 cars at one time.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't do you any good to get in a wreck.
Well, you know, Riley, and you being a driver, you can relate to this also. Like Gina was saying, high-profile vehicles and the wind that we're expected this afternoon, 30, 40, maybe even 50-mile-an-hour gusts. Stay parked. Don't take a chance on it. What are your thoughts on that?
Put your tail to the wind or your head to the wind and bunk down. That's the best idea you can do. You're not going to do anybody any good if you're upside down or on your side or in the hospital.
Absolutely.
Just stay parked. Most driving outfits they have enough sense to understand when a driver out on the road says, "Hey, this is not safe." Hey, okay, well, when you can move.
All right.
Then, stay safe.
All right. Riley, thank you for calling in. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Bye.
You know, our heartfelt condolences to the victim and the family of that victim, but it could be so much worse. And I cringe every time I hear about that, with whether it's the wind or whether it was some other cause of going off the guardrails down to the road below. Thank goodness that there weren't more cars involved. Thank goodness. And I'm sure that if there's any updates, Gina will provide that to us from our sister station, Cat Country. And so thank you very much, Gina. Again, I appreciate it very, very much. I want to remind you, too, about our friends with Lennox, and I'm trying to find my papers through all the confusion here. Airvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. That's right, and when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better at home. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or visit them on the online website, ramseysonline.com. We're going to be coming back next hour. I don't want you to miss anything that's coming up this next hour because we've got Megan Barth, and she's going to be talking about that David Hogg, the young man that really jumped into the limelight with anti-guns and gun control measures. He's that 17-year-old kid that I think he's just got a big mouth and not much else. And we're going to be talking to Megan about him. And then we have a lady at 10:30 by the name of Regis Giles. She is very outspoken about what's going on in the world today. Don't miss either of those. Right now, Wheels is going to play this good word for Tommy Ahlquist, and then take a little music to the CBS News. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Wheels, if you would, please. Oh, my. I think if I were going to use one word to kind of sum up what the weather is right now, I'd say nasty. With that wind blowing and the snow really coming horizontal across the plains, holy mackerel. Hey, good morning. Good morning on this April 2nd. And Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the big spring tire sale. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. They are helping you get back to being you. We're going to have our guest with us in just a moment. I also want to remind you on Thursdays we have a segment called Cassia County School Days, and our big thank yous go out to our 2 sponsors, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, with all the clothing and all the baby furniture, the children's furniture, and of course all the games and the toys and the puzzles, everything for the young ones right there at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also our big thanks go out to the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley for your outpatient surgeries. They can and they will save you money. Call them today at 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County on Thursdays at 10:10. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I believe she's down in sunny Las Vegas this morning while we're up here in a wind and snowstorm. Good morning, Megan Barth. How are you?
Hey, Zeb, I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
Well, the weather really took a turn for the nasty outside, and we're expecting gusts up to 50 miles an hour this afternoon, snow, rain. Gee, I'll be on a plane down there as quick as I get off the air.
Oh, my. Well, I hate to tell you, but it's sunny and warm down here, but that's the desert.
Megan, I want to talk to you about quite a few different things this morning that you're very well versed about, but I want to ask you, first of all, that the left is going after Laura Ingraham and her advertisers and her TV show. I've had that happen to me in years past over Barack Obama's presidency, and the left, the Democrats up here, went after me for a while, and you got to stand up, you got to look them in the eye, and most of them are cowards and they'll back down. What's the situation with Laura Ingram's program right now? What's happening?
Well, thank you so much for asking, because since we last talked, and actually just a couple weeks ago, I was asked to join as co-chair of the Media Equalizer. And they run a Facebook group called Stop the Scalping. So if anyone's listening is on Facebook, just go to Stop the Scalping, and they can join. We monitor everyone that joins. But there are instructions on how you can stand with Laura. Stop the Scalping saved Hannity's career last Memorial Day when Media Matters and the progressive left decided to come after his sponsors. The blowback from the American people and his fans, which was started by a campaign by Stop the Scalping, saved Hannity's career. We intend on doing the same with Laura Ingraham. And we already have, if you go to Stop the Scalpings on Facebook, we already have over 108,000 members who are all activists and who are taking to Twitter and sending emails to the 25 sponsors that are playing politics and partisan politics. So, we have automatically generated tweets and emails that you can send out to stand with Laura and boycott the boycotters. Because, look, the progressive left they want to not only disarm us, they want to silence us. And we have to fight back against the censorship. If you'll recall, and I'm sure you do, that the Democrat Party tried to get the fairness doctrine passed through Congress.
Right.
Isn't that a nice euphemistic term, the fairness doctrine? Well, that was to silence talk radio. So if Laura Ingraham loses her show on Fox News, who's next? We should all just line up against the wall like we're in front of a firing squad and let Media Matters and Barack Obama's Organizing for Action and kids like David Hogg take pot shots at us to silence us, because that is the goal of the Marxist left. That is the goal, not only to infringe and disarm you by trying to abolish the Second Amendment, they want to mess with the First Amendment, because dissent will not be tolerated in their totalitarian attempt to fundamentally transform this country.
You know, and their fascism attitude of, hey, you don't agree with us? Well, then we're going to completely obliterate you. We're going to put you into absolute island of despair. We're going to make sure that you don't have a program. We're going to make sure that you don't have a source to let anybody hear your words. I've been through this. These people are evil. These people are at the bottom of the barrel as far as being on the scum side and absolutely stymieing free speech. And I'll do anything I can to help support this issue for Laura Ingraham.
Well, fantastic. Like, you can go to our Facebook page, Stop the Scalping. If you want to go to the website, which was put together by an activist a year ago called thenewmovement.org. He basically works during the day and manages the website at night. Thenewmovement.org. He puts together automated tweets. You just click on it and it sends from your Twitter account, or you click on the email and it sends from your email account. And if you follow on Twitter, Stand with Laura, you will see just how many activists are standing with Laura, using Stop the Scalpings as their main hub to get all of the information on Facebook, and really rising up and taking a stand, because that's what you need to do with these progressive bullies. You cannot apologize. You have to fight fire with fire, and you have to make sure that you are making the left live up to the same standards and live by the same rules they set for us.
You know, Megan, why don't you jump back a couple of squares on the Monopoly board and give my audience an explanation as to how this attack against Laura Ingraham really started, if you would, please.
Sure. Well, I wrote a piece called Stand with Laura or Kneel to Censorship. And basically, a week ago about Laura Ingraham tweeted the following: David Hogg rejected by 4 colleges to which he applied and whines about it. That was it. And with that, David Hogg replied that she should stop mudslinging at children. Now, isn't that interesting? Because he wants to be treated like an adult, but he wants to be protected like a child.
Right.
And so, of course, Media Matters and the mainstream media that works on behalf of the Democrat Party as their propaganda campaign used David Hogg, and he started listing her advertisers and asked that Media Matters and the progressive left hound her advertisers into submission. So 25 advertisers have left Laura Ingraham.
Let me ask you.
What's interesting is about one of the advertisers, BMW.
Right.
They came out, and oh, by the way, Laura apologized for that tweet, which I don't believe she should have, but hindsight is 20/20. BMW apologized last year, or maybe it was 2016, for supporting the Nazis in World War II. Now, was there a massive boycott? Did the American people and people around the world say, no, we're not going to buy BMWs anymore? But BMW can stand by their apology for working with the Nazis, but they can't stand by the apology for Laura Ingraham.
You know, you mentioned about not giving an apology, and I could not agree with you more. When something is said that is factual or it relates to a story, if somebody's toes are stepped on, they shouldn't be on the dance floor in the first place. And as far as being dictated to by this young David Hogg, give us a little background about this kid. I'd like to hear more from you on that.
Well, I'm waiting for an investigator to find out, since now it's been thrust into the political spotlight, and you and I both know that politics is a blood sport. I'd like to know more about him. We really don't know much about him. I'd like to see, I don't know, call me a birther, but I'd like to know really how old he is. I'd like to know where he was born. The rumor mill has it his dad was a former FBI agent, and his mom works for CNN. He now is posed with Valerie Jarrett with March for Our Lives. She said, so proud to meet this young man who's become one of us, or something like that, and we're in this for the marathon. And that's what we have to understand, is that the incremental destruction of the Constitution, led by the progressive left and the communists like Valerie Jarrett, it is a marathon to them. They will fight every single battle, every single day to destroy this country. It is not a one-time war. It is a succession of battles. And they are using this kid as well as they're using the other kids in Parkland for a political agenda, not for safer schools, for the fundamental transformation of this country, which will be brought down through the disarmament of people and the censorship of opposing voices.
Megan, every time I have you on this program, I absolutely relish your concepts and thoughts on various issues. And I want to have you kind of expand a little bit on gun control as of this morning. I, for the first time, as being a gun owner for the last 50 years, I'm very concerned. I can see a consolidated effort by the left, not just for gun control, but for gun confiscation. I can see this looming on the horizon. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. Gun control is nothing more than gun confiscation. The left, like I said before, always uses euphemisms to hide their tyranny. When you look at Obamacare, it was called the Affordable Care Act. Well, there was nothing affordable or caring about that act. When you look at gun control, it's about controlling humans and gun confiscation. When Judge Stevens, a former Supreme Court justice, writes an op-ed that it's time to repeal the Second Amendment, you can tell exactly what the Democrats are trying to do. It's incremental destruction of our rights until they have the entire goal, until they achieve the goal, which is the repeal of the Second Amendment, which is extraordinarily difficult, and that's the brilliance of the founders in making the repeal of constitutional rights extraordinarily difficult. And so that is not likely. However, what is likely is the continued abridgment of our rights to keep and bear arms from a tyrannical government. Why do you think the Democrats want to disarm you? Because they ran a tyrannical government under Barack Obama.
Absolutely. You on one of the information sheets regarding having you on the program this morning, we were also talking about a rapper called Killer Mike. Maybe you could give my audience a background on that story with Killer Mike.
Well, he's one of the very few in entertainment that actually is a Second Amendment supporter, and he told his kids, he's got 2 kids, that if they do the school walkout, then they can walk right out of his house and not come back. He understands that the destruction of the Second Amendment is to weaken the populace against a tyrannical government. And so is he getting the national news? Someone like Snoop Dogg or other celebrities who are like Kanye West, who are marching for our lives? No, because he is not carrying the narrative of the progressives. He actually is constitutionally sound in thought. He wants to defend and protect the Second Amendment. And he said there was a shooting at his daughter's college. I think she went to school in Georgia. And his response to that wasn't to champion gun-free zones. It was to teach his daughter how to better shoot and arm her with a gun. And what's interesting is that the governor of Kentucky, Matt Bevin, there's an 8-minute clip, if you Google this, Zeb, do gun control, culture, and Matt Bevin. And it's probably one of the best 8 minutes I've listened to on why it's more of a cultural problem than a gun problem. And he said that there was a mass school shooting in Kentucky just a couple weeks before the Parkland shooting. But did you hear about it? No. He said because they worked 24 hours to keep the political vultures from the media away from his state so the state could grieve and respond accordingly. A 16-year-old kid walked into a high school and shot 17 students point-blank range, killing 2 of them. Did we hear about it? No. There weren't a March for Our Lives for the Kentucky students. Kentuckians picked it up, took care of their community, and moved forward with being armed.
Let me ask you this, Megan, and final thought on this subject for this morning. As we draw closer and closer to November and the elections, how much more of this problem is it going to grow? Is it going to turn into a major cancer to affect the elections, or is it going to eventually die out during the summer months?
No, they're going to keep the heat up. I mean, that's what they do. They push until a lie becomes the truth. It's a typical Alinsky tactic. The only thing that can stop it is if we make sure that we form the polls like we did in the presidential election. We cannot become complacent and let the Democrats take back the House or take the Senate or take the Congress or even take the freaking school board. We need to make sure that the Democrat Party loses every single election they run for, because the platform of the Democrat Party for 2018 and 2020 is gun confiscation, censorship, open borders, the protection of illegal aliens, and higher taxes. And it doesn't matter if a Democrat is telling you that's not the platform. That is the platform. The leadership wants it. Even the vice chair of the Democrat Party was calling for gun confiscation. So if you want gun confiscation, vote for a Democrat. If you want higher taxes, vote for a Democrat. If you want censorship, vote for a Democrat. If you want more illegal aliens and open borders, vote for a Democrat.
Absolutely. Megan Barth, I thank you, the co-chair of the Media Equality Project and national spokeswoman of MediaEqualizer.com. Thank you. Enjoy your sunny weather, and we'll tough it out up here in Idaho. Come back soon. Thank you so much.
Anytime, Zeb. Stay warm.
Thank you. Very nicely. I know we had a little bit of an interruption of the signal there. It got a little difficult to hear, but I appreciate Megan Barth being on the program this morning, talking about the problem with the Laura Ingraham program. Excuse me, how some on the left, many on the left, are trying to go after and shut her down. They've done the same to Hannity. They did the same to me back in 2007. They are really lowlifes that the minute somebody says something that's against what they want projected to the American public, they come after you like worms into an apple. And the best thing to do is, just like she said, and we did it back in 2007, fight back. Stand up, spit in their eye, and don't weaken. Whatever you do, don't weaken. The weather, I noticed that our power dimmed a couple of times, and I'm just going to say this, you never know, at a moment's notice, all of a sudden, zip, we may be off the air. With the severe wind gusts that we're getting over here in this area, with the snow and the rain and everything else, so be advised, it is not nice outside. And I will reiterate what Gina Jameson said earlier on that newscast regarding that accident, that it is very dangerous, and I urge everybody that is involved in driving a high-profile vehicle, a truck, semi, whatever, be careful. Try to stay away from the bridges or anywhere that it might create havoc and jeopardize your life. So be careful, please. That accident over there in the Rupert area, very, very severe today, and it's only going to get worse with the weather conditions with the high wind that they've forecasted for the remainder of the day. Wind gusts could be up to 50 miles an hour. Wheels, do you have anything more over there regarding the weather and or that accident that we need to get on?
No, I haven't gotten an update yet. I'm still checking every 5 minutes or so, but I definitely will let you know about it. If I have to, I will have Gina come in here and she can address it over the air.
All right. I appreciate it, my dear friend. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. And I also had a note here that I want to get on quickly. And it was about the Cassia County School District Board of Trustees. They do have 3 finalists for the position of superintendent, and they are Jim Shank, and he is from Washington, Glenn Sismoniak, and he is from Alaska, and then also Sandra Miller right here, and she's currently the assistant superintendent, and they're going to have a meet and greet this afternoon at 4 o'clock. It's going to be at the John V. Evans Elementary in Burley, and interviews, community interaction, and so you get a chance to go by and possibly interview and ask questions of the new superintendent of schools for Cassia County. That's this afternoon, starting at 4 p.m. at the John Evans Elementary in Burley. There you go. And also another quick note that we need to get on the air. The Minnecasia Veteran Service Office hours are changing, and the hours change today on April 2nd. Starting today, the Minidoka County and Cassia County Veteran Service Office, the new hours will be Monday 10 a.m. to 6, Tuesday noon to 5, Wednesdays noon to 5, Thursdays by appointment only. And the new hours have been instituted to help veterans who currently are having to take off work to visit the office. And if you have any other questions on this, please feel free to call Chuck Driscoll, and the number is 678-3599, or you can visit the website. The Minnecasia Veteran Service Office is located at 625 Fremont Avenue in Rupert. Don't forget that. There. We've got all of our public service work done, I think, for this morning. And a reminder, we're going to have another person on the air in just a few minutes that absolutely tells it like it is. Regis Giles is the author of How Not to Be a Me Too Victim, but a Warrior Chick. Can't wait to hear from her, and that's coming up in just a few minutes at the bottom of the hour. I do have time for another call. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Quick reminder, tomorrow we're going to have a brand new segment starting up for the season, and I'd say for the season of gardening, with warmer temperatures and gardens and everything else. Yeah, we're going to have Vicky's Country Garden start tomorrow, and I look outside the window and it's snowing like a son of a gun. Anyway, Vicky's Country Garden is going to start tomorrow at 9:30. The lovely Miss Vicky, and also Dr. History is going to be here, and then we're also going to have Fred Snook with the best horse sale in the state of Idaho, and that's the Salmon Select Horse Sale that's going on up in Salmon in a matter of a few days. Right now we're going to say, oh, we got a quick call. We'll take that call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, you're talking about Laura Ingraham and that little snot-nosed brat that thinks he can run the world. He's not the only one that's lost people. I had a brother murdered with a .357 pistol, and 4 other people at the same time, and another guy was shot and survived. So he can't tell me I don't understand. And on top of which, Laura Ingraham said exactly what I was thinking.
Absolutely. You know, and the thing is about this kid, this David Hogg, I'm a little bit turned off to the point where the American public can't see that he has been groomed, educated, and literally put in front of the public as a focal point to help push the left and their gun control issues. You see it, don't you?
Oh, I do. Well, and then there's a post on Facebook about him. You know, he says the older generation just doesn't understand about AR-15, whatever. Yeah. And somebody posted a picture of him, and then they showed a picture of D-Day, and there's 3 or 4 different pictures. And so my comment is, if this little snot-nosed brat has a GPA of 4-point-something, whatever, then how did he get a GPA that high if he flunked history? Because he obviously didn't past history if he can't remember World War II.
That is an excellent point. And, I want to say this quickly before I have to send it back over to the station with you. But I will say this. I don't begrudge the kids speaking out about the horrific thing that happened at Parkland and other schools across this nation. I don't begrudge them having the gathering to speak out about their safety. But when they start dictating policy and they're being led by the left for one main reason, and that's to take guns away from innocent citizens, it's time to speak out.
Exactly. Well, and my question is, him and that gal that I can't think of her name right now, that they got as their spokespeople, were they in the building where the shooting took place, and were they on the floor where the shooting took place? Because I can say that I'm traumatized by all the hurricane that went through Texas this spring.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there, but oh man, it affected me. No, it didn't, because I wasn't there.
Absolutely. I thank you for calling back. Always appreciate your viewpoint. Thank you very much, and have a safe day out there in the wind.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We're going to send it over to Wheels. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back on a very windy, dangerous, snowy, rainy Monday. My goodness sakes. April 2nd. I am really looking forward to meeting this next guest. She is the author of the book, How to Not Be a Me Too Victim, but a Warrior Chick. Oh, boy, look out. Here we go. Regis Giles, good morning to you.
Hi, Zeb. Thanks for having me on.
Man, I'll tell you what, I've read your resume, and I'll guarantee you I'm going to go yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, through this whole interview.
Well, that's what I want. I wrote my book, How to Not Be a #Me Too Victim, but a #Warrior Chick, so that mutual respect between men and women can be established and founded. And these women who, in the feminist movement, who think that they can march up and down Main Street with their #free the nipple and flashing themselves, it doesn't equate self-respect or freedom. What does equate self-respect and real freedom and empowerment is the knowledge and capability to defend your life.
Let me ask you this, Regis. I'm one of these old cowboys that I like to open doors for women. I like to do things that are nice and gentlemanly. I believe there is a great division between the two sexes as to how men should act and women should act. Do you think I'm archaic in my thinking?
I think, yes, in this day and age, that is archaic, but I think it's something that needs to be re-implemented and not archaic at all. Men should definitely treat women with the utmost respect, and that's where our feminist movement went wrong. The feminists have claimed we don't need men, we're good on our own, we're going to treat ourselves just like, a piece of garbage, and yet they still demand respect. And when a woman doesn't respect herself, how should another human being respect them if they don't take themselves seriously? And I'm sure you've seen it, where Mike Rowe published an article about the fatherlessness epidemic in our nation, and all sorts of problems that it causes. And this is the feminist movement has definitely demanded women to kind of replace men in their lives and go on this man-hating tirade, and that's what I don't want to happen. I want this relationship, for women and men to go on and making the world go round and round is very necessary. And in my book, How to Not Be a #Me Too Victim, but a #Warrior Chick, I'm giving women and men the capability to find that self-respect in learning how to defend their lives so that everyone can understand where their line is, and if it's crossed, if their line of self-security and things is crossed, they know what to do and how to handle the situation immediately. The fatherless epidemic has been equated to a lot of violent behavior in those children that have not been raised properly, and that involves men who have anger issues and have attacked women in rape epidemics. So it's women, the feminist movement, who's claimed women don't need a father in the household, they're somewhat responsible for this quote-unquote rape epidemic that we're seeing in America.
Yeah. You know, let me throw this at you, Regis. I'm an old guy. I've been around the horn a couple of times. But I will say that from the 50s and 60s into the 70s, where the man was still the head of the family and respected as such, and the television portrayal of the men, the real men, on television and in the movies, and that equated and spilled over into real life, all of a sudden, into the 80s, there started to be a denigration of men, and the TV sitcoms started making them look like great big boggling idiots. And this started this whole movement to where today I don't think men are respected at all. Am I wrong?
You're right on the money, and that is something that needs to be restored. The man's role needs to be one of a masculine, manly man, and this whole thing where gender is self-identified and assigned, and apparently there's more than two. I think now the list is up to 86 different genders. Who knew that there could be so many? But and the fact that feminists want to ban the word man from any sense of the vocabulary because to say man equates rape. It is illogical, and it's a complete attack on the man and the masculine lifestyle, and it's firing back at us at a very severe manner. And that's what I saw with this hashtag #MeToo movement, and I couldn't stand by and let that happen. My dad is a very strong presence in my household, and I'm the better for it because of it. I'm a very self-confident young woman who, I was learning how to defend my life because my dad wanted to make sure that I was going to be safe and secure in the city I was raised, which was Miami, and it's a very transient party town. So they knew, both my parents knew it was necessary. And that's the thing you see now, this tweeny David Hogg, who's demanding that we give up our rights to defend our lives because he wants to make sure no crazy person gets any weapon whatsoever. That's all good and well and said. Nobody wants a crazy person to get a firearm or a weapon, but taking away our Second Amendment right won't do that. It won't accomplish and stop any mass shooting from occurring because a crazy person will get any weapon and inflict mass harm on a community, as we saw in Austin, Texas, with the serial bomber.
That's right.
And I think if Nicholas Cruz's father was a prominent and heavy influence in his life, he probably wouldn't have such mental health issues. I think if David Hogg's father really stood in and was a heavy influence in his life, he would, be more understanding of people's rights and ability to defend their lives. And it's kind of scary how David Hogg is throwing his temper tantrum in the public atmosphere, in the public arena, and yet when he's called out for whining, like Laura Ingraham said, he once again throws a major hissy fit, and is now Laura Ingraham could possibly lose her job because of this complaining little millennial.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely ridiculous. Where did free speech and free thought end?
Well,
why should Laura Ingraham lose her job because she mistakenly said he was whining about getting rejected by 4 colleges? She apologized. She should not have to lose her job because of this. And I hope that she lost 11 advertisers, and I'm praying to God that 22 freedom-loving advertisers come back and support her show, because it's getting to this dangerous atmosphere to where we have to be completely silent. Men can't be men. Women are insecure and can't defend themselves in this atmosphere, and our Second Amendment and First Amendment rights aren't being properly protected, and they're being threatened. And I can go on and on about how dangerous this is, but it's going to take freedom-loving Americans to step in and counter-protest these companies who are trying to stop people like Laura Ingraham from continuing their right to free speech. And we need to start protesting the companies who are pushing for gun control.
Well, it's a completely fascist, leftist attitude that's being funded by major organizations, MoveOn.org, Soros, and, of course, even Planned Parenthood are putting up $500,000 at a pop, and they're the ones that are propping up a 17-year-old punk that a month ago you didn't even know he existed, David Hogg, and now they've turned him into some kind of a media icon. And I, as a grandfather, he's that age where he would be my grandson, I would simply say, shut up, mind your elders, and know more about what you're talking about. But in his case, they're using him as a media prop.
Right, and that's what the liberal needs, are media props and children who don't really know the full extent of the issue to, praise their cause and call for all gun control. And the interesting thing about it is that David Hogg was welcomed to the White House. They wanted to hear from him, wanted to hear what legislation he actually wanted passed and things like that. And there were other Parkland students that took the opportunity and helped legislators pass laws. But Hogg boasted about hanging up on the White House, and rather than actually trying to see real change, he's just talking about it and ranting about it on Twitter and in these marches. And now that the marches are done and over with, he no longer has a platform other than Twitter, and so now he has to bully and target conservatives so that he doesn't become irrelevant. And it's quite pathetic, and I hope that more people will decide to ignore this little millennial princess, and that other people will start saying, hey, I don't agree with everything conservatives say, but this kid's getting a little out of hand, and if we continue down his path, then all freedom of speech will eventually be infringed on.
That's exactly right.
Our Second Amendment rights will be infringed on, and this needs to stop here and now.
Let me ask you a little bit. I've got a couple of minutes left in this segment, Regis, and I want to get back to the book, how to not be a hashtag Me Too victim, but a hashtag warrior chick. What do you want people to take away from the book when they read the last page and close the cover? What's the main theme that you want people to remember?
I want an overall mentality change. I want women and guys also to turn from this victim-like mentality where everything is someone else's fault, and take real ownership and responsibility for one's own life. implementing day-to-day habits that can prevent women from being vulnerable and start becoming a self-respecting, confident woman who will take on the day and fight for the good cause with a smile on her face, no matter how great the opponent and conflict is. Life's a very challenging world right now. My company and business is being attacked because I'm a freedom-loving conservative who, promotes guns, and the gods of Facebook and Google don't like that, and yet I'm still smiling and pushing my message because it's a necessity.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to be bullied into submission and quietness because they disagree and are trying to keep me silent.
Well, let me ask you this question then, to wrap up our interview this morning, Regis. You talk about women and what they should do, but what about men? What about the guys? I mean, how are they going to crawl back out from underneath a rock and stand up and be proud of who they are and what they represent? What about the John Wayne attitude? How are we ever going to bring that back?
I think guys need to be proud of being men, and I believe that they need to show they're not going to be bullied into silence and say, yes, I am a man and I take full pride in, being able to ride horses, hunt the backwoods, fish and capture meat and spit, whatever. And treat a woman the way she should be treated. And I think there's a huge misconception between a man being a man and a man degrading a woman. If a real man knows how to treat a woman properly, and that's something that needs to be readdressed. And men should not be bullied into silence. Also, they need to embrace their testosterone fog and be respectful and courteous to those around them. But I wouldn't take it lying down. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Now tell us the book, How to Not Be a #MeToo Victim, but a Warrior Chick. How do they find the book? Where is it located, and where can they buy it?
You can go on my website, girlsjustwannahaveguns.com. We have advertisements all over there, and it's being sold directly through Amazon. So buy 50 books. Give it to your granddaughters, your daughters, your nieces. This is something that will definitely help change the culture and the environment in our nation.
Absolutely. Regis, I've enjoyed having you on the program, and I certainly hope you'll consent to come back in the future. Thank you very much, Regis Giles. Good luck with your book. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeb.
All right, take care. Nice lady. And the book again, How to Not Be a #MeToo Victim, but a #Warrior Chick. And Regis Giles. And she tells it like it is, and I respect that. She's right. Thank you very much. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. But right now, we've got to get a weather forecast in here. You know what? It's already changed a little bit. And believe it or not, the skies have opened up, and I see some blue sky and even a little bit of sunshine. But the wind's still blowing. Anyway, don't forget the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats. Oh, I mean, yesterday I bet a lot of people enjoyed one of their smoked hams, or maybe one of their marinated prime ribs. Wow. Or for Easter breakfast, you probably had all the buckboard bacon or whatever, or the breakfast sausages. It's all good. From Scarrows Meats in Jerome. Right now, here's the weather.
Looks like we're in a high wind warning in effect. All you big riggers, please be careful out there. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting scattered rain showers this morning and maybe some scattered snow showers up in the higher elevations. Cloudy skies becoming mostly sunny by this afternoon. However, there is the wind. Looking at a west wind right around 30 miles an hour, increasing to 40 miles an hour this afternoon. Gust high is 55 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 45 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 25. The winds will continue. However, they will die down. For tomorrow, sunny skies with a high of 51, mostly cloudy for tomorrow night. with a low of 33. Then for Wednesday, cloudy skies and a high of 58. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And again, welcome back from vacation. Vacation? How do you spell that word? My. Hey, don't forget Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. And I mentioned their website, scarrowsmeats.com. It's true, delicious meats. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. Wow, great guests this morning on the program, and I've got time now for you to give me a call, and we'll talk about any subject you want to. I want to get this story in because it's so infuriating. The vegans up in Toronto were screaming foul, and they were crying for animal liberation at a Toronto restaurant. Listen to this, and it just makes you want to reach out and play AT&T and touch somebody on the end of their nose. Vegan activists staged a demonstration in front of a Toronto restaurant on Saturday night demanding, there's that word again that we've heard so much of, demanding animal liberation. The protesters are angry because the owner of the Antler Kitchen and Bar prepared animal meat in front of them last week. This is so stupid. They're in the restaurant, and the cook is back there preparing animal meat, well, meat in general, and they were upset about it. And they said, what do we want? Well, we want animal liberation. When do we want it? We want it right now. And then they go into the typical phrases like, there's no excuse for animal abuse. It's not food, it's violence, and they go on. And then they said, we will keep protesting until we sit down with the owner to make menu changes. Here's a guy that owns a restaurant. Here's a guy that has a legal business of serving the public the food that they want, and these nitwit, small-brain, big-mouth vegans are saying we're going to keep protesting until we sit down with the owner to make menu changes. Unbelievable. We're letting the left, the crazies, the loons, the idiots run our society, and it's high time we just put up a big stop sign and said, whoop, whoa, that's it. That's as far as you go. It's a crazy world, folks. A crazy world. I want to say thank you to our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They are saying roll into spring with a great big spring tire sale. They've got all the tires for your car, your pickup, your SUV, your horse trailers, your boat trailers. Yeah, even after this morning, you can say boat trailer, yeah. Anyway, they've got them all at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Tires like the Eclipse, on sale, all-season traction, advanced tread design. It's on sale for your cars. You better check it out today. Or for your pickups, the Open Country HT. Great buys. Along with the best in brake service and front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. All of this and more at all 7 locations of absolutely the best people. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. You betcha. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely the best. Well, again, be careful out there. If you're going over any bridges or whatever, driving out there on the highways and byways with a high-profile vehicle or pulling maybe a lighter like an aluminum trailer or whatever, be careful. They are calling for wind gusts, maybe getting close to that 50-mile-an-hour area here this afternoon, so be careful driving, please. Until tomorrow at about 8:06, we'll be signing on and ride the horse for 3 hours right here on Zeb at the Ranch, and we've got some great guests planned for the rest of the week. Don't miss a minute of it. Right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and then streaming live all over the world, literally. Bit my tongue. Literally, that sounds better, on ZebBell.com. So again, at 8:06 tomorrow morning, remember the way things were are the way things ought to be. And right now, this word for Tommy Ahlquist, and then Wheels will take you up to CBS News.